Why not me? How breast cancer saved my life and could also save yours. My name is Egondu Onyejekwe. I am a wife, a mother of 4, a grandmother of 7, and I am a breast cancer survivor. At the age of 74, which was actually at the peak of COVID, I was doing everything possible to make sure we prevent COVID for myself and for the rest of my family. Took all the precautions, wore screens when we went out, didn't even go out much, and prepared ourselves very well before we went to bed, cleaned up the house and everything. So we were all ready for COVID. But guess what? It was not COVID that came. It was something I thought I knew very well. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. That diagnosis saved my life because it was early. And who knows, it is something that may also save your life. The setup. In April 2019, my older daughter and her family gave me a trip to China. We went to China in the midst of COVID. But that was before the world woke up to it. We escaped COVID. Divine intervention? Maybe. But then we came home, and then COVID ensued. And we did all the preparations, as I said before. We wore masks each time we went out. We cleaned up everywhere. We stayed home most of the time. We prepared very much to prevent COVID, and none of us had COVID at the time. But guess what? I went into a shower one day, and as usual, I was doing my self-breast examination, and all of a sudden I felt pain on a lump I had had for over 2 decades. Pain? Something in me said, go quickly, schedule your mammogram. Don't even waste a moment. Go. So I called my PCP and we scheduled a mammogram. I went to take the test just as being unnecessarily, precautionarily sensitive to my health and doing it as a precaution, not because I thought that there was anything wrong with me. And you guessed it, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The shift. I will share my sudden and raw reaction. I felt a pain. I went for mammography test. I was diagnosed immediately with breast cancer, pending just confirmation. I froze. The ground under me felt like it opened, and I couldn't move. I didn't know how I walked out of that building, but I think like a ghost. I went home. I lay down on the bed. But that was after I had started cooking. I love cooking. I thought that would take away the angst and the emotions. I lay down on the bed and I didn't sleep. But somehow, both downstairs and upstairs were filled with smoke. What I was cooking was burning, and the alarm was everywhere. I had forgotten that I was cooking. That's just one way of understanding the impact of hearing that you have breast cancer. And for me, that wasn't anything to be forgotten because I thought I had overcome it and that I knew what I was doing, but I didn't. The cry and the covenant. One day, as I was praying, or at least I thought I was praying, the bombshell of breast cancer that got me frozen in time reared its ugly head again. There I was with tears draining down my cheek. I wanted to say words of prayers, but words failed me because I didn't know what I was going to say. And I was there thinking, why me, why me? And then I muttered some words which maybe only God himself heard, but I don't know. I didn't know what I said. And then something came over me and said, why not me? Why should it be somebody else? Why not me? So, in my way of doing things, I thought it was time to have a conversation with God. So I went to God and I said to God, oh Lord, please help me understand what's going on. At the age of 74, I'm diagnosed with breast cancer. And yet I'm told it's not going to kill me. What is all this about? Tell me what I should do with it. And I said, and this is what I call my own revelation. And I said, if you give me life with this diagnosis, I promise you I will try and save more lives. I will talk. I will speak the truth. I will have conversations. I will write. I will join groups and make sure the truth is told about breast cancer. Dear Lord, I am not going to waste this second chance which you have given me. A new mission is born. I have written 4 books on breast cancer, and 2 of them have been published. The other 2 will be published by the grace of God by the end of this year. But then, that wasn't all that was needed. I thought I knew the plan, but God had a bigger plan for me. He said my voice has to be heard, that people need to hear my voice and my story. So I had to leave Columbus, Ohio to go to LA festivals to hear and learn that my new mission is to use my voice. And then I came down to San Francisco, and my older son and one of my grandsons, his first son, started shipping me on YouTube and podcasts. As a matter of fact, my second grandson in this house, who is only a 7th grader, has more than 1,000 followers on YouTube. He told me, "Grandma, you must tell your story. People need to hear it." So this is the story, the epiphany. After being diagnosed with breast cancer, I told my family gently and individually that God so loved me that he gave me breast cancer on a platter of gold, that I was diagnosed as stage 01. Everybody knew I was going for mammography test because in those days with COVID, everybody had to know where everybody else was. And so when I came back, I had to tell them where I was. And when I said this, my second daughter started crying profusely. She cried and cried and cried. She cried for almost 3 months until I had the mastectomy. And they said that I came out of surgery alive. That's when she stopped crying. That has shaken me ever since. If a family as strong as mine and those who think that they know are still tormented by certain myths like breast cancer is a death sentence, then it's the right time and the opportune time for somebody like me who has had the experience to speak up. So the mission is, or why I'm doing this, I am not here for fame or for followers. I'm only here to narrate my story on how early screening and diagnosis of breast cancer saved my life. I am here also to share that information with you. I am here to tell that story so you could share it with somebody else or tell somebody else. I am here also because I want you to go and do early screening. I also want to make sure that we debunk all of the myths that keep us entrapped, believing that we are dead meat once we are diagnosed with breast cancer. That is not true. The tools. The first of my series will begin with myths and facts. I want you to join me in laughter, in crying, in celebrations, because eventually we want to celebrate hope, and hope that is impactful to us, so that eventually we will soar. You don't have to go through what I've been through to do the right thing. So if you are interested, click the subscribe button, or click like it, or even send me some comments that you want to share with other people. And we will all be here together to talk about what's next and to demystify breast cancer by telling the truths instead of holding on to the myths.